Welcome to 108 Gates, where we're looking at the Divine Masculine reading first. I hope you're well. Just as a reminder, there are end of year readings up in each individual zodiac sign as well as the monthly readings. So, continuing with the masculine reading, interesting vibe. It's kind of like a not wanting to get out of bed. Not wanting to talk. Not wanting to do much, if I'll be truthful. So, I have 8 degrees Capricorn in that space. Mercury is retrograde. So this is making sense now why it's feeling a bit delayed. There's something that's stuck. There's maybe something that you're trying to plan or you're trying to navigate and it feels a bit stuck. It feels like it's going backwards. Not necessarily that the retrograde is indicating that it's going backwards. It's more to do with, it feels like it's something stuck within. Therefore, you don't quite know how to activate something. You don't know how to quite make something become physical and tangible. So, this is kind of roaring with the others. That's like, so that 6 degrees Taurus, you've got Jupiter retrograde, and then 19 degrees Taurus, you've got Uranus retrograde. So there's a real massive pullback. It's going within and just figuring things out, but at the same time, it's like you can't figure it out because you don't quite know what you got to figure out. Interesting that we get clarity. So trying not to grasp at solutions, trying not to grasp at information, trying not to grasp for certain things. It's allowing it to come in, it's allowing it to be revealed. It's being more so in cohabitation with the universe rather than trying to dictate in the universe. Interesting vibe. Communicating differently, communication with yourself differently. I don't quite know how to deal with this. I don't quite know why this is not happening. I don't quite know what to do about this. I don't quite know if this is even feasible. Is it worth the investment? So actually being honest with yourself on one level, but instead of trying to answer it yourself too, allowing the answers to come in. Allowing the divine guidance to come in. So Pluto is at 28 degrees Capricorn. It's direct, so Mercury will catch up with that at some point. Then at that point it feels like there might be like like masses of epiphanies, or some epiphanies and some sparks being launched, I guess, in terms of where to go next, what to do next. Who knows, some thought patterns may shift and change. That there's a definite sense of different direction of things and a new perspective of things, especially as Saturn is at 1 degrees Pisces, direct. So this is realigning, reordering things, but at the same time they're still fluid because it's in Pisces, and it's fluid also because Neptune is in Pisces. So it is quite an interesting, flexible on some level vibe, but also very rigid in what's being pulled out. It's been very purposeful and it's been very direct. So protection, feeling into protection, knowing you're protected, knowing that you're comfortable and safe in some spaces. That may be where and why you're feeling a bit vulnerable. That may be why some things are feeling unclear, because in the past a similar situation or representing something similar is coming in, and therefore you're being triggered. I hate using that word, don't want to use that word in particular, but you're being triggered, possibly you're being activated to have a certain response. Now is your perfect time to respond in a different way. The thing is, if and as an analogy, if someone's talking to you about a mountain and the size of a mountain, and you've never been on a mountain, you don't know what a mountain is, it's difficult for you to grasp that concept. So there's certain concepts that are going to be coming up within yourself, about yourself, that you haven't quite touched on, you haven't quite explored before. Therefore, it's going to be difficult for you to grasp, well, what does that even mean? What does loving myself actually mean? What does empowering myself actually mean? What does respecting myself actually mean? What does living with dignity in this particular space or area actually mean? So knowing that you're protected and feeling that you're protected, trusting that you're protected, to be able to step into those new comfort zones, to usher yourself into those new comfort zones, those very comfort zones that sometimes we are led to believe that we're supposed to just jump in head first. These aren't those kind of things. It's more of a what is being moved and shifted at the root for you to be now encompassed in yourself. You are the root, you are the vessel, you are the thing that moves around, you are the entity. So it's pulling the roots out of where they've taken hold in wrong places. It may have taken hold in someone else's consciousness. It may have taken hold in someone else's values or strategies or whatever. Needing to uproot those things and reroute in yourself, reroute as yourself. In that process, there may be, like I said before, times where you're feeling superiorly vulnerable. I don't know why it's come out that way, but it's coming out that way. That's just even an odd concept alone. In a space, you may feel vulnerable, you may feel scared, you may feel hesitant. It's trusting that this time you are going to walk across that beam and you've got the strategies, you've got your balance sorted, you've got certain things in place to keep you protected. You've got a harness, things like that. Before, you didn't have that, and it was like a free fall possible. That free fall now, it won't be so scary because you're actually putting in place certain things to keep you safe, to keep you aware, to keep you conscious. The remembering of certain things, the emotional or the physical responses may be the things that need uprooting and disposing of or changing, because those are the things that are keeping you from moving forward in a more confident manner. Okay, King of Serpents. You know that there's more to be had. You can sense it. It's like you can feel it in the ether. You can feel it in yourself. You can feel it, but you don't quite know where it is. You don't quite know how to access it. You don't quite know if you can access it. So it's still feeling a bit lost. It's still feeling a bit out of there, out of reach. So it's about looking into. I'm feeling like obsidian vibe, like you look into a clear piece, a shiny surface of obsidian or something like that, and then you're supposed to see, well, depending on your practice, or you look into a flame, scrying basically. If you're doing some scrying and you look into a particular thing, that you can see certain images coming up. This is more to do with your emotional scrying, when you're emotionally allowing yourself to freely think, freely feel, freely accumulate certain emotions, certain feelings. What are they showing you? What are they indicating to you? Where is your strength ready to grow? Where is your courage ready to grow? Where was your strength and courage hindered before? So now you can unplug from that, you can unlock from that and allow it to soar and safely grow. It's about doing it in a very precise manner, but not so precise that you're also losing the creativity or the fluidity of it. It's getting that harmony and balance. It's literally, if you see a birdie, some weird words coming out today. If you see a bird flying and they're just coasting, they're hovering, and then they flap their wings and then they're just gliding again, and then they flap the wings, and then they glide again. They know and they can feel the momentum. They're in that flow, they're in that gliding, and then flap the wings to get a bit more momentum. It's knowing that instinctively and intuitively, and then trusting it enough to actually act on it in that way. It's quite a special energy. Act on it in that way. We got the Fool, taking the steps that are necessary, taking the steps that it shows your commitment to the next steps. It shows your commitment to the process. It shows that you're trusting the process, and you've got that faith and trust increasing in yourself to know which way to go. You're connecting with the sensations, you're connecting with the emotions, you're connecting with the instructions, so to speak. Knight of Serpents, King of Serpents. So this isn't going to take you to your actual goal. This is going to take you to part way to your goal. This is more about the journey. He's on a horse. It makes it feel more so like it's about the journey of getting to King of Serpents, the King of Coins. So when you're there, what does it look like? But first, start the process. Enjoy more of the process and be more involved in the process, so that you're actually carving a path. You're thinking about your path. You're feeling the path. And for some reason I keep hearing a Scouser's accent. Don't quite know why. Very strange. So you're feeling the path, you are moving forward, and you're doing it in a very particular way. Very strange. Very strange. Loving the path, loving the way you're going forward, loving your process. This is going to get you even more so in touch with where you are protected, feeling you're protected. And then when you feel a bit more vulnerable, or you feel a bit scared of the next steps, bringing in that love, bringing in that, am I loving this, or is it something I've got to do because it's part of the process, therefore I'm not loving it as much, but knowing it's a part of the process. For example, taxes. If you don't love your taxes but you got to do your taxes, there's going to be those things that we have to do. Being diligent about it, and then focusing on the next part that's going to be really enjoyable, that's really inspiring and invigorating, and then go again towards that thing, knowing that in the process there are going to be those things that you don't quite enjoy. That came up. Two of Swords, 10 of Cups, 3 of them are broken. There's some things that you're going to come across that are not going to be that enjoyable. Doesn't mean they're not essential, doesn't mean they're not important. So it's discerning the difference between, am I not enjoying this because it's not to be done, or it's not for me, or am I not enjoying this because it's just boring and it prevents me from doing the next thing that I really enjoyed and like doing. Is it an essential thing to be done? Then get it done and move on. If it's not an essential thing to be done, and it's someone else's task that you should be doing, or it's someone else's task that you've been told that you should be doing, give it back to them and get on with your own thing. Get on with your own thing. If it is yours to do, then finding a way of doing it in an effective, efficient manner, knowing it's got to be done. Get over that hurdle and do it. Something like editing, you've done the writing, you've done whatever, but you don't like editing, but you got to do the editing to be able to get it published or get it handed in or whatever it is. So you've got to do that process, but it's like, I don't like doing that process. But when you do those things that are annoying, or just like stop the creativity, or stop the process of enjoyment of what you're doing, just doing it, then you aren't feeling on top of the world. Once you've done it and you've completed it, and then you're heading back to your path again, heading back on the funner side of the path again, then you can feel it even greater, because you know you've achieved this, you know you've done these things. This isn't particularly a small task. There you go. Start seeing that floating cup, all those opportunities. Don't get stuck in here of what you don't want to be doing, of what you don't enjoy doing. This is just going to be there regardless anyway, unless it's not yours to do. If it's not yours to do, then remove it. If it is yours to do, then face it and get it done. This here, definitely, when you're feeling good again about things, start seeing that cup that's there, that you start seeing the cup that's there, the opportunities that are there, that you didn't quite see when you were stuck over here and not willing to take that risk, not willing to take that next step, not willing to do the due diligence of what I would do have to do when this is a bit difficult. Do you just flake out then, or do you just back off then, or do you keep pushing and go forward? Very important point. Right, I'm going to get one more for the masculine because it feels like it doesn't want to close. Just, it wants to close, I want to close it, but just one more card for here. Conclude. Because that isn't an easy thing to do. It's exhausted, it's exhaustion, it's nervous, anxiety. It's not a pleasant place to be. It's worrying, am I going to do it correctly? It's worrying, am I going to do it wrong? It's worrying, have I done it correctly? It's worrying, am I going to do it in time? It's all of that stress there. It's really got to be dealt with because it's a big, massive part of the hurdles that need to be overcome. The moon. Feeling good about things. Your emotions are going to be really powerful right now, indicating where you are in regards to certain things. And I did say that, feel into it. The moon at this moment is 11 degrees Capricorn. Interesting. So it's just gone over Mercury. That's at 8 degrees Capricorn retrograde. So this is why you could be feeling this like also, if you are. Anyway, so I'm going to do the Divine Feminine reading now for your information. If you are wanting to look at the end of year readings, like I've already said, they're up, and the monthly readings are up, so check them out if you haven't already. For now, peace and love.